What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Vibes, presented by Vigilant Videography. I'm your host, Ethan Weiner, and let's get right into today. So, who do we have today?
I'm Marshall Salz. I play rugby for UNM. I'm a good friend of Ethan, and I'm really just stoked to be here.
Dope, bro. Yeah, I appreciate you pulling up. So, talk to me a little bit about, where you grew up originally, where you started, and where it brought you today.
Yeah, I grew up in Dallas. Spent a lot of time playing sports. Wasn't really a artsy or schooly kid. So if my parents wanted to find me, I was backyard.
Yeah.
Or in the playroom. So I grew up. When I was really little, I went to Armstrong Elementary. Then I transferred to Brentfield and moved when I was real young, elementary school age, and I think that impacted me a lot just because I had to start over and like make new friends, figure out the vibes.
Yeah, I feel that.
But after that, we stayed there for a while, and then started playing basketball, started playing football, picked up a little rec league baseball here and there.
Nice.
I loved all sports, and once I got to high school, I kind of just couldn't pick a sport, so I just bounced around from sport to sport to sport. But I really liked football.
Okay.
That was my go-to. So when I knew I wasn't going to play at the next level, it made me kind of sad.
So you wanted, originally you kind of wanted to go with that? Like you wanted to go forth with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're just things that happen that you can't do it for whatever reason.
Were your parents a big supportive starting out the sports or throwing you into sports as a kid and all that?
Yeah, my dad was one of the greatest coaches ever. I mean, got Greg Popovich, Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, and then my dad.
Just right there, just
right
chilling.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he pushed me to be active, get outside, do something. He had a motto that he'd tell all of my sports teams. Say, play hard, have fun, and be great. And that drove me through a lot of my tougher times as I was getting older. Just because I kind of started to understand what it meant later on in life, and I didn't always understand what he meant by being great. And so learning what that meant was it was life-changing. Just doing everything you can do to your greatest ability is super important. And he really taught me that. And then my mom was always driving me to a practice or always, at my game. And then my grandpa and grandma, always there. And my dad had a shot arm, so my grandpa would have catches with me and stuff.
Oh, that's dope.
So it was it was always great. I always had somewhere to turn.
It's a group effort. It's a group effort.
Yeah, and my brothers were big into sports too, so it was always a competition in the house. Who has the meanest crossover?
How many brothers do you have?
I have two, older and younger.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I like that. And so you're the middle child.
Oh yeah.
You're the middle child.
Oh yeah.
So there's that's the most competition because the youngest is they get freebies here and there. The oldest is everything's expected of them, so you're just kind of competing against both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
My little brother's kind of a dog too. Shout out Patrick.
So he's they're all into sports a lot.
Yeah, my older brother was really freaking good at baseball, and I think maybe 8th grade year he tore something in his groin, and he never got it fixed, but he was still just a dog.
Yeah, he fought through it.
Yeah, and then eventually it just took him out of it, but he was really good.
Yeah.
And then I always thought I was the best athlete in the family, but my little brother is giving me a run for my money. He's a freak athlete just like me. So
yeah, facts. Who did the baseball? Older or younger?
Both of them played baseball. My little brother is still playing off and on. He's on a travel team. But my older brother was just really into it. That was his only sport. And until he got out of it, and college, he played in an under 6 foot league for basketball for his fraternity.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So fast forward a little bit back. So you're into football, but it didn't really work out at the college level. So where'd you go from there?
I was actually walking on one of the first days of school back from the gym because I was still just like trying to like stay ready just in case.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe like a walk on.
Right.
And I was looking for this flag football pickup game.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of our rush events, and
nice.
I couldn't find it, so I started walking back to my dorm.
Who's we? Who's we?
SAE.
Yeah. Shout out SAE. Brothers. For everyone who doesn't know, this is my little in the fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. All right, keep going.
Yeah. But the coach for the rugby team at UNM stopped me, and he was like, "Wait, like, have you ever played like contact sports?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I thought he was like gonna ask me to like play football or something, like over with one of the other teams practicing. And he was like, "Have you ever like heard of rugby?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it." And funny story, I promised myself my freshman year of high school I would never play rugby.
Really? Why?
There was this big ass dude named Canyon Wadsworth, and he said like to get mentally ready for football, he'd play rugby in the off season. He was terrifying.
It was brutal.
And I was like, I'm never stepping on a field. And then
so you didn't like, it wasn't like anything against rugby, you were just fucking like scared shitless of rugby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, the coach was like, why don't you just try practice? And like from the first practice, I like really fell in love with it. My grandpa was still alive, so I called him up like right after. I was like, hey, like I just found something. I went to a practice, and then I'd call right after, and it was the coach, and he was like, hey, would you like be on our team?
Oh, shit.
I was like,
let's
right
go. After, yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And then, so like going through that first season, it was, it was tough. Like I think some of our first games, we played some men's teams to kind of get us warmed up for the season. And I realized like it was a lot like, it wasn't all dandy and fun like practice. And so I kind of had to have that like mindset that like this is what I want to do. Like, and I kind of like weighed my options.
Right.
And I kept with it. And then our next game was against New Mexico Tech.
Oh, shit.
They had won the national championship the year before. And I had no clue about any of it. So this was my first like real game of rugby. And they whooped us 123-0.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
And
that's crazy.
After the game, I threw up like 4 times, like trying to chase people down.
Yeah.
I remember I got trucked by this dude and like barely held on to tackle him, but it was a whole different ball game. And I mean, I played high school football in Texas, and you think like those guys are.
That's scary too. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking scary. Yeah.
And then it's like, these guys, we don't have any pads, and we're just like hitting each other. And it's like, sometimes I like think about it and I'm like, oh,
Like, what am I doing?
I gotta hit
here?
hit this big dude, or he's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
That's like the mindset you have to go into it.
You just gonna have to not think about it, just like go for it.
Absolutely. Next game, we dropped to our rivals, New Mexico State,
Yeah.
80-0.
Dang.
And at that point, I was like, is this for me? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
But then I got a call from my dad late one night. It was a Thursday night. And my grandpa, like, had passed away. And he was, like, really proud of me. And so I was really devastated, obviously. And I went through the next week, and we had a tournament the next weekend. But his funeral was on a Friday. So I flew back to Dallas for the funeral, and they asked me if I wanted to stay for a football game. And I really had to think about it. And, I thought he'd be more happy if I went out and, like, did what he was proud of. So
I kept with it.
Yeah. So we went out to that tournament, and it was almost a new team. We got second place out of like probably 12 teams there.
Dang.
And we whopped Northern Arizona. There's a third team that was like a men's team, had to forfeit the match. We were just like playing with our heads down, foot on the pedal. And it was just a really good tournament. And then the next week we had New Mexico State again, up at our pitch. And it kind of brought back some memories. And there's a traveling trophy called the David Grandsmith Rio Grande Rugger Cup.
Oh, shit.
So
Nice.
it travels between us and New Mexico State.
Yeah.
And this was the first game it was going to be played. And in the back of all of our minds, we were like, they whooped us 80-0 2 or 3 weeks ago.
That's a scary thing to go up to. That's like really scary.
And we had this trophy to play for, and it was terrifying. And we got out there, and we scored first. And so they had to kick it back to us. Because it's not like football where, kick back and forth. Score gets the ball back.
Right, yeah.
And then we scored. They kicked it to us. Our guy dropped the kick. Not going to name any names. You can watch the film. But they went and scored a quick one. And we kind of figured it was going to be a slugfest. So
yeah,
we stuck to our game plan, and like the whole game, we were playing with the mindset of like, we're down by 10.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really led us to believe we were actually down by 10, because at the end of the game, we scored, and they kicked the ball out, and we were crying, and the coach came onto the field, and they were like, "Congrats, great job."
Yeah.
And we had won by 10.
Dang, that's crazy. I mean, but keeping that, it's all about the mindset, though. If you didn't have that mindset, then you wouldn't have won by, it would have been too close, and then it might have gone the other way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, no, keeping that in mind, that's and that's scary, too. First of all, playing fucking rugby, just that's fucking crazy. But going up against these people for it, not even just going against them in a game, going for this cup, it's hella more on the line just to go up against them, prove yourselves. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, state, and it's just and it's just going up to that and just doing that. That's it was. So how'd you feel after that win?
There are a few photos that may or may not explain that in better words than I can use.
Yeah.
But I was pretty ecstatic to have my family there that could come. Originally, my grandpa had tickets for a flight and everything with him and Nini, and they weren't able to come. And so it was, it was really tough to not see them sitting out there. Yeah. But I think he helped out a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the energy is still there. Definitely in the game. Definitely saw that for sure. It's
And then we came back spring semester. Started our season in Las Vegas, and it was we kept our momentum, but it was a real rough game. So we won 39-7, and they also forfeit after. We were just killing them.
Yeah.
And but I had to go out in the middle of that game. I blew out my shoulder.
That's the game you blew out.
Yeah. So I was running, and there was a guy right in front of me, and we went straight horizontal to the ground and clapped our shoulders.
Dang.
There's a terrible clip. You can hear my.
You just go right into each other.
Yeah, and you can hear the scream that I let out.
Dang.
And so I get up because it was a penalty, and I try to go into the scrum, and my shoulder's dislocated, so it's flopping
just,
around.
Hanging there.
So I bind up, and I can't get my other arm to bind up, and I'm grunting.
Right.
And you can hear it on the clip.
And you're just running off the.
No, I'm not running off the field.
Oh, you're not running off? Oh, you're still. Oh, you're still. Oh, yeah.
So I try to throw my arm up so we can complete the bind, and my captain told me it was time to get off the field.
Yeah.
So I went off. I got it relocated, which actually.
So you held in there for it, you're still.
I tried, but it was. I'm glad I didn't.
Could end up way worse. Yeah.
Well, I did play New Mexico Tech the following weekend.
Right.
And then I went because it was still hurting. And that Tuesday, I stepped really hard when I was running, and it shot back into place.
Oh shit.
but then it was still really hurting. So they had never fully put it back into the socket.
So you just kind of put it back in yourself, like
Yeah.
accidentally type of thing.
Absolutely. But it was still hurting, so I went and got an MRI, and I'd completely destroyed my rotator cuff.
Dang.
And I found that after I played another set of matches. And so that was another point where I was like,
yeah.
is it time to just like call it? Because I don't have a right shoulder anymore.
Right, yeah. It's scary. No, it's scary for like any athlete. It's scary once you hurt yourself. You know, it's like everyone's saying you're never going to go back to how it was. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah, and there's a lot of self-doubt too, where it's like, can I make this tackle now?
Right.
And so I spent that season still playing, and really like trying to recover my shoulder, like get back in the weight room, all that stuff, and it finally kind of started to work out. And then this summer, I went with the New Mexican elite side. So that's like all of the teams in New Mexico send their players. And we went up to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and we played in a tournament. And we lost in the semis, but it was a close game. And then the team that we lost to blew the other team out. So if we just got through that one, we would have won. But
yeah.
I really saw like elite level rugby there for the first time, and I was like, okay, this is a different game speed.
Right.
And then we had a new head coach come in halfway through the spring semester. So this past semester, we had a real tough season. Kind of just trying to get everyone on the same page. Old guys trying to follow an old system that's kind of been beaten to the head, which is like old school hard knock rugby where you like hit.
Right.
And, you know, Coach Tamaris, who's an amazing coach, trying to teach us a new system, and it didn't always work out. And so we had a bunch of struggles, and we played a bunch of top ranked teams in the nation. I think it was 4 or 5 top 20 teams. And just loss after loss after loss after loss.
Yeah.
And it really was just a struggle. And it felt like, we weren't really like the team we were. That was tough. Just to see like
losing that momentum.
Loss. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it can really hurt for sure. Yeah. So how'd you get back? How'd you get back from that slump?
I think this winter break, we've all been in the weight room. We've all been hitting the conditioning. Kind of trying to.
So now you're getting it back. Now you're coming.
Yeah. We didn't have a win last season, and just like we didn't play to our potential. We didn't play to our level, and that was a struggle for a lot of us. And so this off season, we've all been in the weight room, running the dams, doing conditioning until we puke, like all that stuff.
Just going all out, yeah.
Yeah, because we just don't want that again. And we've also been using it as a mental, break where we can just like wipe it, flush it.
Facts. Yeah. Cool. No, that's what you kind of gotta do. Like when you're like in that mode and just like, when you're going through something and it's a hard time, you're not getting what you want, you gotta like put yourself through that suffering or whatever you gotta do to get back to that point, and then say, listen, like this is where I am now. We just gotta go for it and do that.
Absolutely.
That's motivating. And keeping that like everything in your mind before that got you to this place, just keep going with that. That's super important. Also having that support system around you.
For real.
Like the people doing that. So what kind of things do you have coming up? I know you have a big season coming up. So what do you like after that? What do you plan to do with this season or future things?
I just want to keep my head down and really like keep working at this. Spend my time in college while I have time in college. After college, I don't really know what I want to do yet. A few ideas floating around, but I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like rolling with the punches.
Yeah. Yeah, facts. No, that's dope. And so do you do you have anyone that you kind of, like, through all this stuff and everything, I know you mentioned your family a lot. Is there anyone that you really look up to that, either inspires you as like an idol or just like helps you get through this stuff as like someone kind of like a mentor, but also like a guide through this and who you want to be like?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I have a lot of people who help me get through the stuff that isn't too easy to get through on my own. I mean, my coaches, the coaching staff is amazing. Coach Sam, he won a national championship with
nice.
Highlands back a few years ago, and he's more than a coach. He's someone who you can go and talk to and feel like what you're feeling. And then Coach Devin, he's been instrumental. He's also more than a coach. He's a friend, and those guys are really, really huge. Then you got like Coach Thor. Man, he is funny, but he works you hard. You got Coach Alex Walton. He works you and hard. You know. I mean, lots of great coaches, and then at the top of all that, you have Coach Damaris, and she keeps them all in check, and she keeps me in check. I'm a hothead when it comes to practice, and sometimes she needs to tell me to calm down.
Yeah, like chill out. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. No. It helps to have someone like it's all about the people around you, because if they, you really can see who supports you like in those hard times, and like if they weren't supporting you, they wouldn't tell you to calm down. They wouldn't tell you to help you out in like these like situations, because even though it is like sports, like a lot of physical like endurance and everything, it's really more of a mental. It's a lot more of, I feel like, a mental game, and just like having that mentality to go into every day and feeling it out.
Yeah, like Coach Cup is really good about that. He's someone who like is really great at conditioning your mind. Coach Alex does that well too. Just like giving you that mental toughness, telling you to push yourself the extra mile, like let's go, come on, like you can do it.
Yeah.
And obviously my teammates, my fraternity brothers, those guys have my back. I can go eat a meal with them, shoot the breeze. Specifically like Grayson Wisner, great guy. Marcus, one of my best friends. And we got like Ricky Rimley.
Yeah, Rick, shout out Rick. Yeah.
This guy right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When he picks up his phone.
When I pick up my phone. I'm not always on my phone. But yes, when I pick up, yes, for sure.
Tanner.
Yeah.
Mr. Prez.
Mr. Prez, yeah.
My little Chance.
Yeah. We got the G Little now.
Oh,
the G Little now, so that's dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then like obviously like huge shout out to my girlfriend. She is the person who like gets me up and is like, all right, Marshall, like let's go. We can do this. And I feel
even though it takes a lot of your schedule, a lot of your time, she's still really supportive of it and like keeps pushing you.
Yeah, and I mean there's nowhere else I'd rather spend that time. I'm so happy. Like going on dates is amazing. She actually is my gym partner, so she's pushed me to be a lot better and more consistent in the gym. She's also pushed me to be better in life, so I really appreciate her.
Yeah, no, that's all important, to keep that circle tight and just to keep everyone like in line with everything.
Absolutely.
And so one question I have for you, so is there any advice that you'd give to people who are like either trying to just be an athlete or trying to get into rugby, like whatever they're doing in this, high school kind of stage, or if they're going through a struggle saying, oh, I don't know if this is for me, how am I going to go against this, whatever they're going through, do you have any advice for them?
I think if you're thinking about like a sport and you don't have your mind made up, like rugby is a place where it's like you can play all over the world and the people are all going to be super inviting. Like I haven't gone and met a team where they're not like trying to like put their arm around you and get you to chug a beer.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about. Like you go try to hit each other for 80 straight minutes and then you slam some beers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's not like any other sport. At any other sport, you have this sportsmanship worry. And in rugby, I haven't seen that. It's like, after the game you're going to be at their social, or they're going to be at yours, and y'all are going to be homies.
Right.
It's really just an amazing thing. So if you're thinking about, joining like the sport of rugby, like take that leap.
It's really like a whole community. It's not just a sport. It's like joining a community of these people.
Absolutely. And if you're thinking about leaving rugby, I mean, if you're getting hurt, that's one thing. But if you're just losing your love for the sport, one thing I'd recommend is try another team. Like you need to find your home like in any other thing. And it's really important that you do find your home and make sure you foster the love for what you're doing.
Right.
And just like if you're an athlete and you're losing your love for the sport, it's usually not the sport. It's usually the people around you, the pressure. Like it's something. It's external.
Yeah.
So like if you're a hooper, go to the place where you like shot hoops as a kid, and just
find that love again. Fall back in love with the sport.
Stop like listening to everything for like just a little bit, and like listen to yourself for a little bit, and that's like the best advice I could give.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. That's like a lot of people don't do that, or get caught up in like who's saying what or all this stuff outside. Sometimes you really just gotta like bring it home, take it to what you know, and do what you love.
For sure.
Well, yeah, thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Brady.
Good to see you, bro. And everyone check him out. He's doing big stuff and all. So, that's the end of today's episode. So thank you guys for watching, and always check us out. We're doing a lot of big stuff coming up. So, check out everyone who's part of this family. If you want to be a part of it, hit us up, be on an episode. If you want other promotional work, hit us up. We do everything. And and we'll stay in touch, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.